Hi, Jonas and Cam. It's time for chapters 11 and 12 of The Wizard of Oz. Chapter 11, The Rescue. The lion was very happy to hear that the Wicked Witch had melted away, and Dorothy unlocked the gate of his prison and set him free. Next, Dorothy gathered all the Winkies together and told them that they were no longer slaves. The Winkies were very happy, for they had been made to work hard for many years. They made the day of their freedom a holiday and spent the time feasting and dancing. There's the holiday picture. If only our friends the Scarecrow and the Tin Man were here with us, said the Lion, I would be totally happy. Don't you think there's some way we could rescue them? Said Dorothy. We can try, answered the Lion. So they called the Winkies and asked them to help rescue their friends. The Winkies said that they would be delighted to do something for Dorothy, since she had set them all free. So the group of Winkies traveled that day and part of the next day until they came to the rocky plain where the Tin Man lay. All battered and bent, his axe was next to him, but the blade was rusted and the handle broken off. The Winkies lifted him and carried him back to the castle. When they reached the castle, Dorothy asked the Winkies if any of their people were tinsmiths. She found that there were several Winkies who were skilled tinsmiths. That means someone who works with tin. In a little while, they came to the castle with baskets of tools. So here are the Winkies carrying the Tin Man. They looked the Tin Man over carefully and told Dorothy that they thought they could mend him so he would be as good as ever. The Winkies worked for 3 days and 3 nights. They hammered and twisted and pounded at the legs, body, and head of the Tin Man. At last he was straightened out and in his old form, and his joints worked as well as ever. When at last he walked into Dorothy's room and thanked her for rescuing him, he was so happy that he cried tears of joy. Now remember, the Tin Man, what did he want? A heart? I think so, and now he's crying. Do you think he got a heart? We'll have to wait and find out. Dorothy and the Lion were so happy to see their friend that they danced and celebrated all day. If only we had the Scarecrow with us again, said the Tin Man, I would be truly happy. We must try to find him, said Dorothy. So she called the Winkies to help her, and they walked all that day and part of the next until they came to the tall tree where the winged monkeys had tossed the Scarecrow's clothes. So here's the Tin Man crying tears of joy and thankfulness to Dorothy. The Tin Man quickly chopped the tree down, and Dorothy and the Winkies carried the Scarecrow's clothes back to the castle. As soon as they entered the castle, the Winkies began stuffing the clothes with nice, clean straw. Soon the Scarecrow stood before them as good as ever. He thanked them over and over again for saving him. Now they were all reunited. Dorothy and her friends spent a few happy days at the castle, where they found everything they needed to make themselves comfortable. But after a few days, they all decided that it was time to return to Oz and ask for the things that they had been promised. So sadly, they said goodbye to the Winkies and packed food and blankets for the journey back to the Emerald City. So here they are, stuffing the Scarecrow back together. So chapter 12, they're going to head back to the City of Oz. And this caption on this picture says, we've lost our way. So let's find out what happens in chapter 12. The next morning, Dorothy and her friends began their journey to the Emerald City. They walked a long way and still could not see a sign of the Emerald City. And since they had been carried to the castle by the winged monkeys, they were not at all sure in which direction they should walk. Days passed, and still they saw nothing but fields and forests. The Scarecrow began to complain. We surely have lost our way, he said, and unless we find it again in time to reach the Emerald City, I shall never get my brains. Nor I my heart, said the Tin Man. And I do not have the courage to keep tramping forever without getting anywhere at all, said the Lion. Remember, the Lion got pretty brave when he was in the prison at the castle when the Wicked Witch of the West tried to come in and make him be a horse. And the Tin Man cried, and what did the Scarecrow do? We'll find out. Dorothy sat down on the grass to think. Well, suppose we call the field mice, she suggested. They could probably tell us the way to the Emerald City. So to be sure they could, cried the Scarecrow. Why didn't we think of that before? Dorothy blew the whistle that the Queen of the Field Mice had given her, and in a few minutes they heard the pattering of tiny feet, and many of the small gray mice came running up to her. The Queen herself came up to Dorothy. What can I do for you, my friends? She squeaked. We have lost our way, answered Dorothy. Here's Dorothy blowing the whistle to call the mice. Can you tell us where the Emerald City is? Certainly, answered the Queen, but it is a great way off, for you have had it at your backs the whole time. Then she noticed Dorothy's golden cap and suggested that Dorothy use the golden cap to call the winged monkeys who would carry everyone to the Emerald City. So Dorothy recited the magic words that were written inside the golden cap, and in a few minutes she heard the chattering and the flapping of wings as the band of winged monkeys flew up to her. The king bowed low before Dorothy and asked, What is your command? Dorothy explained that they had lost their way and wished to be taken to the Emerald City. No sooner had she spoken than the monkeys picked up Dorothy, Toto, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, and the Lion, and carried them with their long, hairy arms all the way to the Emerald City. So here are the winged monkeys. Before, they were listening to the commands of the Wicked Witch, but now they're listening to the commands of Dorothy, and they seem to be helpers. Their journey took a very short time, and when they reached the gates of the Emerald City, the monkeys set them all down carefully. The king bowed to Dorothy and flew swiftly away, followed by all his band of monkeys. That was a good ride, said Dorothy. Yes, and a quick way out of our troubles, answered the Lion. It certainly was lucky to remember to bring that golden cap. So here are the monkeys. The monkeys look pretty nice now. This one even has a smile on his face. So that's all for today. Next time, chapter 13. Bye-bye.